Welcome to episode 11 of the MMG podcast with my good friend Gocubs 711.
Do you know that Sonic Forces did a cross promotion with Hooters?
What?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
Did you say what is it? Online ads? Is it actually commercials? Like how did that end up working out?
In Japan, Sonic Forces teamed up.
Once you say Japan, though, it makes sense, though, at that point. Japan, I've just accepted that Japan is going to be the center of just, being weird and totally be fine with it. So, that's part of the reason why I love Japan. So, oh god. Hooters and Sonic Forces, that's great. So, welcome back to the NFL edition of the MMG podcast. We are going to be doing. We did last podcast. We went back to Big Brother for a little bit. That actually went out earlier today. So if you're confused why there was a jump from 9 to 11, because a little bit earlier today there was another podcast. But now we are going to do week 4 predictions and recaps, and we would be remiss if we did not talk about the chaos that transpired this weekend, both on and off the field.
Yes.
And the biggest story of the weekend was not what was happening on the field. On Friday night, our president of the United States, Donald Trump, decided that it would be a good time, of any time, while he was doing a rally in Alabama, to go after NFL players who kneeled, saying that NFL owners should fire them for doing so, specifically saying to get that son of a bitch off the field. And this caused quite the uproar. And now it was not just that, it was also him saying, the NFL they need to make NFL tougher again, that it's become too soft. And a lot of the reason why that is because they have to protect against CTE. The sport itself has been trying to get safer, so that's kind of the reason why it's been like that. But nonetheless, that's how Donald Trump felt, and it led to an array of protests, of kneeling, locking arms together. Some I even saw sitting, or just like sitting, kneeling, whatever you want to say. And just a spectacle unlike any other in protest against Donald Trump, and to continue in protest of what the true message was. I don't think we should forget what the true message of what this all started was. Many of these black players kneeling because they felt like, that they were protesting against police brutality.
Yes.
So we can't forget the message there. It was just a weird weekend in that front, because it was just, you had pregame coverage of, that was pretty much all they talked about for the first, hour or so of the show, or first 15 minutes of each show. It was just one of the biggest debated topics of the day. I don't know, Gocubs, do you want to talk about it at all? Do you have a take on it?
I mean,
it's up to you.
Honestly, it was a really big distraction from a lot of things also going on.
Yeah.
From a political standpoint that I won't get into right now, but that's related to the president himself in terms of the people who, like the response to it overall. It bugs me that like kneeling during the anthem is seen as the most disrespectful thing possible. It's not the flag and troops that are being disrespected. That's not what the protests are trying to do. The backlash that people are giving, in the sense that what these people are doing is the worst thing they could possibly do, also are the ones who, when seeing violent protesters, say, like, hey, why can't these people protest peacefully? That's ridiculous. And then they protest peacefully, and they're like, and then they still are mad about it.
Right.
So
yeah.
There's a lot of issues, but like if the stuff that is already being done during the anthem, like people going to buy popcorn and stuff, and people sitting on their couch during it, like you're kneeling at home in a sense. So
Yeah, but I mean, how many people when they're sitting at home actually stand for the national anthem when it's being played on
exactly,
TV? Um,
exactly.
some would argue that like if you were present, you should be standing. But regardless of that, I agree with you, and I think one thing that has been made of note was how much the American flag means represents the military, and those kneeling automatically means that you're disrespecting the military. To me, when the flag means something different to everyone, and I get that there's this universal thinking that it's meant to represent the troops and what they did, and that's not to undermine what troops have done for us here, and our a lot of our basic rights we have because the troops fought in wars. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm forever
exactly.
grateful and thankful for those people, but um, the flag not doesn't just represent the troops. To me, it represents all of us as Americans, as we the people who are who have lived in this country or who are born in this country. Most of I think that is what the American flag meant, and that's I feel like the national anthem means. I know that there's all these military undertones to it for sure, but we have to remember that that is not necessarily the interpretation for everyone.
And
And
look,
yeah,
and also in the like written rules of like how to treat the flag, uh, like everyone every day is breaking the rules if they wear any American flag apparel. The NFL puts any sort of American flag paraphernalia like within their logos and stuff. Uh,
yeah,
like anytime the the huge side horizontal flag on the field is being done, like that's not technically allowed.
you're supposed to be hanging up vertically. Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
So it's a bunch of people just finding a reason to get mad for a cause that they don't understand, and that's the bottom line. It's a huge distraction. People in Puerto Rico are being fucking like there's a lot wrong in Puerto Rico right now that that very little attention is being towards that is
mm-hmm.
more important than this flag situation.
And
So
Mexico,
listen to this, and Mexico.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, and I'm not saying like uh, forget about other citizens, but like the earthquake in Mexico and like Puerto Rico is in American territory. Like citizens of Puerto Rico are American citizens,
right,
and
yeah.
they're being ignored. So if you really wanted to show your patriotism, fucking help American citizens.
Yeah, and I think that pretty much I think I'll end it there because I think that's what we should be focusing on. My thoughts and our thoughts and prayers are with Puerto Rico and
Yeah,
Mexico and in any just it has been a horrible month for weather disasters. That
yeah,
should be what we should be focusing on, and not to take away from the message that the NFL protesters are trying to get across as well. Though that's very important as well. But the fact that the president of the United States is so concerned about what NFL players are doing rather than really focusing on natural disasters that are affecting American territories, it's really it's just kind of disappointing. Just sitting back and watching it all unfold. So you know, fascinating display of of unity I felt during Sunday and Monday. It was just insane. One of the main responses that I thought was very interesting was um, Monday. Jerry Jones with his team coming out to midfield and all of them kneeling on the ground and then getting back up before the national anthem. I thought that was really interesting. Uh,
mm,
they didn't go the full length of actually kneeling during the national anthem, but they kind of, in a way, said, "We respect your right to kneel." Almost like
right.
that's how at least I interpreted it. It was just fascinating. It was just a very weird week. I don't think they're going to shut up anytime soon, as long as the president doesn't shut up anytime soon. Um, and it's just going to be a fascinating thing to watch throughout the NFL season. It's going to become yet again a storyline for this year. All right, moving on from that, we're going to talk about Week 3, and everything that happened with the national anthem and stuff. Definitely overshadowed what has been a great week of games. And if I had to say anything, Team Chaos won out big.
Chaos had a lot of fun this week.
It was a whole lot of upsets, a whole lot of close games, and just overall, just so much fun. And we're going to just quickly go through some of the games that happened this weekend. We're going to start with the Rams at 49ers. What a game this was. This was my favorite game thus far this year, and I know that there's some good games that, complemented it, on Sunday, but nothing compared to what was truly chaos during the Rams at 49ers game. It started out with a pick six, and it ended on a sack by Aaron Donald in a very high-scoring affair between the Rams and Niners. The Rams survived a comeback by the Niners. It was just incredible. It was so much fun, and people show Thursday night games. I do too, a lot. I kind of think it's rough for NFL teams to go from playing on Sunday right to Thursday. I think it's just a rough turnaround, but that was the best. It was a sloppy game, but it was just one of the best games that I've seen in a long time, and you don't usually get that on Thursday night. So just really fun. I'm sorry that you missed it, Gocubs.
That's all right.
It was just truly, just so like you didn't know what was gonna happen next. It was just great. That the Rams take home the victory. We both got that one right. Next, the Ravens and the Jaguars in London, and if I think one of the most unexpected results of the day, came on a 44-7 blowout victory by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their defense is real, and Blake Bortles is doing enough on offense to get his team, in good position. And they're apparently like the least turnover-prone team. Like they have the best turnover differential in the league right now.
That's weird.
It's weird, but
that's not a Blake Bortles stat.
It's not a Blake Bortles stat, but apparently it is this time. And I don't think anyone's really saying that he's playing amazing, but he's I guess you could say he's like the game manager type quarterback. It was insane. I could not believe it. And this was supposed to be a Ravens team that was supposed to be so good on defense this year. You give up 44 points to Blake fucking Bortles.
What was that?
I don't know. I
have Justin Tucker as my kicker, and the number of times that the Ravens got so close to being in field goal range, Joe Flacco threw an interception, and I yelled at the TV.
Oh man!
I didn't even need them to score touchdowns. They scored one, but if they just got within the 40, Tucker could have made up those 37-point difference.
Yeah, Tucker could have won that game for them. He could have kicked 15, 16 field goals in that game, and that would have been great.
They had to fucking get into field goal range.
Yeah. It's very depressing, of course, for the Ravens, but the Jaguars looking hot going into what should be an easy week coming up. We'll talk about that later. The Patriots, oh boy. First of all, the Patriots at Texans, or Texans at Patriots, apologies. Deshaun Watson came out and had a wonderful game, and it showed that he had, he learned a lot from his first start. Still wasn't perfect, but it was still a good enough matchup to compete with the Patriots to the very end. And But at the end of the day, Tom Brady was still Tom Brady. Threw 5 touchdowns, including one at near the very end of the game with 2 seconds left on the clock to Brandon Cooks, and the team won. And it was, I was just watching the tail end of that game, and I was just like, once you knew Tom Brady was gonna get the ball in like the last like minute 20 or whatever it was, you knew it was just like he's gonna win. He's gonna win. There's no way. The guy always finds a way to get out of these situations, and he did it yet again. So New England coming out on top.
I'm gonna have to apologize for the rest of this podcast because I just got the hiccups and I've been having them all day. So
it's okay. This happens. That happens to me too sometimes. But I try to pull through. That actually happened last to my during my Half-Life Let's Play. That was fun. Oh. I scared myself silly, and it led to hiccups. The next game, Eagles, Giants at Eagles. Eagles. Oh my goodness. Was what was kind of like a slow start to the game. Ended up picking up fast. The Giants ended up having a comeback, coming back 21-14. Then the Eagles scored a touchdown to tie the game, and then what we thought was going to be an overtime game, Jake Elliott, a rookie kicker who I almost had on my fantasy team because rookies, and I did because he started out the season cut by the Bengals, a free agent. Then Caleb Surges, I believe his name is, was the kicker for the Eagles. He went down with an injury, so Jake Elliott took over for him, and the ball was placed at like the 50 something. I'm not too sure, or the 40 something. I don't know. Anyways, it was a 61-yard field goal, and you kind of figure, well, all right, well, he's probably not gonna make it, so just get ready for overtime. Oh wait, he made it. He made it. Jake Elliott, this rookie kicker, kicks a 61-yard field goal to win the game, and it was one of the coolest moments. I mean, as a Giants fan watching it, of course it was a bit disappointing, but I was able to, especially since the Giants are now in an 0-3 hole, it was easy just to kind of put the Giants aside and really appreciate that moment. Because how cool is it for a rookie to have this long-ass field goal, and it's the longest kick in Eagles history, and to be able to win it against a division rival that everyone in Philadelphia hates, that is an awesome win for Jake Elliott and the Eagles. It was a fantastic finish. I can't attest to what happened during the game. I still have to watch it, but I actually watched the Dolphins Jets to start out, hoping it was a more exciting game. Nope.
We'll get to that.
But the one of the best moments that came out of that game, the Eagles Giants game, was the video of his parents in the stands watching him kick the field goal, and his dad literally looking like he's about to like burst into tears. It was emotional watching it, and it was emotional watching it live as the kick happened. It was just such a great moment. So, good job, Eagles. All right, next up, Colts at Browns. Gocubs called this one a pretty easy win despite the score. The Colts won against the Browns 21-18, and this is not looking good for the Browns, who they were hoping to get at least something going early here. It might be because Myles Garrett's not there yet, but DeShone Kizer not really having that strong of a start to this to his career, but we'll see if he can maybe turn it around this upcoming week against another 0-3 team.
Yeah.
Next, oh my goodness, the Dolphins at the Jets. My goodness, Dolphins.
It's like Jets. Such an easy pick.
Yeah, and you think Jets are taking, they're gonna probably not try too much, especially in these divisional games. No, anytime that the Jets can stick it to the Dolphins, they will do so. In a 20-7 victory. Actually, I apologize. I thought I didn't realize at the end of the game. I think Devontae Parker got that last touchdown for you. It was shut out throughout the whole game except for that last touchdown. But the Jets dominated on defense, and Josh McCown did a good enough job on offense to get the job done. The Dolphins just looking miserable. Jay Cutler not doing well, which, I mean,
surprise! He's back to his old self.
Yeah, there you go.
It's almost comforting.
Yeah. Well, especially now that he's not on the Bears, it's kind of like,
well,
see,
we have our own issues, but like,
right, but it's like, see, you see that there's that element of Jay Cutler still being mediocre like we are used to. So fair enough.
I'm gonna make a story about a character named Jake Cutler, and so he's just gonna be a shitty quarterback. That's the story. Great story, Gocubs. Great story. Thanks. All
right. Moving on to the Buccaneers at the Vikings. Buccaneers. Oh God. I mean, this is not the game that you kind of wanted to, turn around and lose. They had a chance, but it was just a blowout win.
Yeah, what the hell?
Case Keenum beat them. Case Keenum on offense dominated the Buccaneers, and while Jameis Winston tried to make a comeback, he had a little too many turnovers, and ended up resulting in the Vikings win. I will say this: Vikings defense looks good. Vikings offense looks pretty good too, and if they get Sam Bradford back, that offense could end up doing really well down the stretch. The Buccaneers, I'm not too worried about right now because I do think the Vikings are a better team than what most
people give them credit for.
Yeah, and I think that they are still missing Doug Martin. They're gonna have to go one more week without him, but hopefully Doug Martin returns to his his 2012 or 2015 self. Because they're going to need him. They're going to need some kind of running back there to kind of get the ball rolling for them, so that way Jameis Winston doesn't have to win the game every single time for them. All right, here our first lost guarantee of the week of the season thus far, and that was a Broncos loss against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
and again, I kind of felt that I felt like there was a part of me that was just like, should I go with this guarantee? I probably had a lot of other easier games, but I was like, no, I feel good about the Broncos after their really nice win against the Cowboys. But nuh-uh. The Bills, their home field advantage and their great defense pulled through. And Tyrod Taylor, looking as elusive as ever in the offense as well, were able to beat the Broncos. A penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Von Miller kind of killed the game for the Broncos, and it resulted in them losing the game. And many feel like that unsportsmanlike conduct should not have even been called. Apparently, Von Miller reached down to pick Tyrod Taylor up and then pulled his hand away as a joke. And Tyrod was laughing about it, but the ref still called the penalty. And it ended up, I think, leading to a Bills first down, and that's just, you could kind of go after Von Miller for that, but at the same time, I think you see that shit all the time. I don't really think that's a necessary flag to throw, especially if it's late in the game. Regardless, Broncos. I mean, that's not really the reason why they lost, but it was among them. Broncos lost, and. Bills, hey, people were saying Bills were taking going into the season. This is a 2-1 team that looks kind of good. They look like they're competing, and it's gonna be interesting to see what they do against the Falcons next week. All right, the Panthers, the Saints at the Panthers.
This game made me sad.
This is a rough. I mean, Cam Newton, there's something wrong with him, and that's.
I know.
And that's what the sad part is. He's just not he has not returned to his 2015 form, and you have to wonder when is he going to get better, if ever. And you know, there's time. There's a little bit more time in the season, obviously, to kind of see maybe he could get better, maybe he can heal a little bit. But yeah, he needs to get that throwing arm going a lot more, and the defense can't carry them all the time. And they faced a really good offense in the Saints this past week. So the Saints, after a rough start to their season, this was an important win to get, especially in division. So, I think I still have a little faith in the Panthers, but it's gonna be tough to see them make the playoffs at this point if they're gonna keep on playing. If Cam Newton's gonna keep on playing the way he is,
especially with how strong the rest of the division is.
Yeah, right. It's Falcons and Buccaneers. It's gonna be tough playing the way they did on this past Sunday. Being able to pass those two, and even the Saints. I think the Saints could potentially be a playoff team. Could maybe. But they still need to fix their defense. I mean, I will say this though, their defense played pretty well on that Sunday. But I need to see that 2 weeks in a row to really feel like it's actually going to do something moving forward.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, this was another weird game. Steelers at Bears. How happy are you, my friend?
Oh my god, dude. So I didn't get to watch a lot of this game because I had to go play at a concert. But I was pleasantly surprised, one, that we scored first, I think.
Yeah, very early on.
Yeah. I was like, all right. Shit was happening, shit was getting going. And then there was one play in there that made me so mad, and this is the second week in a row where, like, a player's stupidity is what caused something really bad to happen. Not necessarily this week, but like last week there was Tariq Cohen trying to recover that punt. This week, blocked field goal attempt by the Bears. Cooper is his last name. Cooper Sr. I'm not sure what his first name is.
Marcus or something? I don't know.
What?
Never mind. I don't know. Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. He recovers the ball, runs it all the way, slows down before he gets into the end zone to kind of like taunt. Gets tackled, the ball comes flying loose, everyone's going after it, no one knows what the fuck happened. Bears recover it at the 1 yard line, and I don't think they scored a touchdown.
Hold on, thought. So what happened was, it was very reminiscent of Leon Lott. He was a famous cowboy who, during the Super Bowl against the Bills, was running back a touchdown, and all of a sudden, as he was running into the end zone, he kind of like threw the ball backwards, thinking that he was already in the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
But that was not the case. It was a fumble, and I think the Bills ended up recovering that. But regardless of that, what happened was that the Steeler tackled Cooper. And the ball was rolling into the end zone, and then I think the Steelers kicker was trying to recover it, and then he batted it out of the end zone. That resulted in a penalty. You're not allowed to bat a fumbled ball out of the end zone. You're supposed to just let it go out the end zone. But it ended up resulting in the Bears having to they got like one play on the 1 yard line, and I believe they got a touchdown after on that. I have to remember. I'm pretty sure they did though. Regardless of that though, it was a weird game, and it went to overtime, and the Bears and Jordan Howard had a game. Like after 2 weeks of worrying about him, he had a great game, and the Bears ended up pulling out the victory over the Steelers,
which was so fucking surprising because we were facing a competent team.
It was a competent team, but their offense has not gotten off to a good start. And I don't know, just sometimes things just come together, and the Bears just ended up working out. They kind of just played around Glennon. I don't think Glennon really had an amazing game,
no.
But the players around him kind of made it better. And yeah, just a very fascinating game all around. It was just interesting. It was weird. You don't expect those games to end up like that, and there you go, another one.
Yep.
Uh, so Falcons at the Lions.
Woo!
This was the undefeated game, and boy did it deliver. Falcons, I believe, had the early lead, and once again the Lions tried to have a roaring comeback. It ended up coming down to what seemed to be a Golden Tate touchdown that would subsequently end the game, and that's what it seemed like. I actually, after the Lions scored the touchdown, I went in and I was just like, all right, go Cubs. He got his team chaos right. There you go. And I put in the W, and I put the Falcons, I put the L, but then all of a sudden I look and they reviewed it, and apparently he was just short. And so with 10 with 10 seconds remaining on the clock, or 8 seconds remaining on the clock, they were like, the ref said that he was down by contact, and then that because of this they had to do a 10-second runoff or something like that, and it ended up just ending the game, and they didn't even let them get a chance to play one more down. They had to run the clock for 10 seconds. And it was
so weird.
It was supposed to. I mean, that's the right call. It wasn't that the refs did not. They didn't blow it. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. But it was just. You don't feel like that should have been the rules. You should kind of. I felt like the Lions deserved the chance to score on that play. Deserved at least a chance, even though they didn't have a timeout, to quickly run to the line and just make a play, just do something, especially if it's at the 1 yard line, the half a yard line. Just they could just probably run it in, and it would end up being a runoff, a walk off touchdown or something. I don't know. I did feel like the Lions were robbed, but at the same time, the rules are rules, and I think the refs followed it. So
yeah,
poor Lions, but the Falcons now escape. Two of their 3 past games have been very close finishes. They
against the NFC North.
Against the NFC North, they might as well be 1-2, but they're 3-0 and looking strong on offense. And
look, dude, yeah. I told you I wasn't crazy about the Lions. I almost got my Team Chaos pick right.
Yeah, no, I believe it. I mean, because look, the Lions this is not the Lions of 2016. This is not the team that got lucky on every single thing that happened to them. This is a talented team, and Stafford's leading the way. And I have a lot of respect for the Lions. They deserve to be praised, and they're going to be a good team this year. I hope that for the first time in how long, a decade or two, that they actually win the NFC North. I think that would be awesome for them. Yeah, it would be great to have a playoff game in Detroit. That would be awesome to see for that team. So we'll see what happens with that. Moving on to the Titans. The Titans over the Seattle Seahawks at home. Oh my goodness! I picked them.
What happened?
We both picked them. I said that they were my Team Chaos, and that was the first Team Chaos correct pick of this season. And it I mean, God, it started out very close. Much more of a defensive effort in the beginning, and then all of a sudden the floodgates opened, and the Titans scored 3 touchdowns, and it was
none of them passing though.
Yeah.
It was one of them passing.
It was just it was really just incredible to see the Seahawks defense give up as many points and yards as they did. It was just an incredible game in the sense that you're looking now at a Seahawks team that has not yet to get around offense, that do not look like a dominant defense, and now they're heading back home to face a Colts team that people are saying could actually give them a hard time. I mean, when you think back to week 1, you think about the Scott Tolzien-led Colts. I mean, I know now it's Jacoby Brissett, but did you think that team had a chance of beating the Seattle Seahawks, who just got Sheldon Richardson? No, but now this is the reality that we live in, and everything is up, and everything that was once up is now down. It's weird, and I don't know if I like it, but I like the Titans winning, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They are looking good, but they need a win next week to really solidify themselves as someone to be feared. Just to quickly rob the last one's the Packers, the Bengals and the Packers. Close game. Bengals were up 21-7, and the Packers made the comeback, sent it to overtime, and then Geronimo Allison,
ILL.
ended up running it all the way, almost to the touchdown, but then the Packers settled for a field goal to win it. Aaron Rodgers continues to just be a magic man in many aspects, even after a game where he had a pick 6 as well. Very fascinating. Chiefs at Chargers. Kareem Hunt continues to be a dominant force. He's kind of on track to beat Eric Dickerson's rushing record, which is, I mean, not many people are discussing it, but it's a real thing that could happen.
Yeah.
And he's just been an outstanding potential MVP candidate for this Chiefs team, as the Chiefs go to 3-0. Tied with the Falcons as the best record in the NFL. They are, I think, the best team in the NFL right now on both sides of the ball. I didn't think that this Kansas City Chiefs would. I knew they would be good. I didn't think they would be this good though. And the Chargers fall to 0-3, and I mean, once again, it's one of those games where they look good, but they just can't win the game. I don't know when it's going to turn around for this Chargers team. Next, on Sunday Night Football, oh man, another one, surprise one, the Redskins almost blowing out the Raiders. Defensively, just tortured the Raiders all day, and Kirk Cousins had a great performance, and it was just a dominating effort by the Redskins. And now you kind of look at that Monday Night Football matchup coming up. Redskins Chiefs is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And then, last but not least, Cowboys at Cardinals. Like, I did not get to see a lot of this game, but the Cowboys came out with the victory. Dak Prescott had a leaping touchdown, had a very nice touchdown to Brian Butler, and very amazing grab by Larry Fitzgerald in the game as well. He continues.
Saw that. That was fucking superhuman.
Yeah, he just continues to
put him in the Hall of Fame right now.
He continues to transcend time, and I will miss him once he leaves the NFL. But yeah, unfortunately, the Cardinals now sit at 1-2, and have to now host the Niners, which might not be that bad, but we'll see what happens there. All right, are you ready, Gocubs? That we finished 8-8 last week. And because I got both my guarantee wrong and my Team Chaos right, my points offset.
Yeah.
And basically nothing changed from last week. We're now you're now at 24-23. I'm at 25-22, and I'm still leading points 3-1. So once again, not much change there. And we need to recover from an average week, even though the actual football being played was not average. And we will start out with the Bears at the Packers. Thursday Night Football. What do you got?
The Bears just won over the Steelers, and the Packers struggled to win over a really bad Bengals team. But the amount of experience and talent on the Packers, they know how to beat the Bears at this point.
They have that formula.
I have to go with the Packers.
Yeah, I'm going with the Packers too. Look, I don't think, I don't want to take anything away from the Bears, but it's very hard, it's very hard to play around a quarterback. rather than have him help in the team victory. I don't think you can do that against the Packers. Not one bit. I will be. I'm kind of screwing up here because I was supposed to have my picks open and the list of games open, but I think my Chrome crashed. So go Cubs. I need a quick intermission, some sort of commentary that you need to throw out there if there is anything that you have in the next for the next like 10 15 seconds.
All right. So for some reason a lot of people seem to prefer red grapes to green grapes, but I've never gotten that. I just think that green grapes have like a better overall taste to them than the red ones. I don't know how that translates to when it comes to grape juice though. Like the red grapes where it's at, the darker, the more purpley grape juice. That stuff's good. I haven't really tried grape juice made out of green grapes, but it doesn't seem like it would taste as good. When it comes to wine, I actually haven't tried any sort of red wine yet. White wine is kind of disgusting and gross. I hate it. Do not recommend unless you actually like drinking wine. Then go nuts. But I don't know. I just never got the appeal of wine when I tried a bit of it. But yeah, overall, red grapes when it comes to grape juice. But when you're just eating the regular grapes, the green grapes are fine. That's all you need to do.
All right. Thank you so much, Gocubs, for that wine commentary. All right, we are back. So next up, the Saints at the Dolphins. This is a London game, and the Dolphins coming off. What in the world? A loss against the Jets. I didn't expect to say that this season.
Nope.
And the Saints coming off a win against the Panthers. Go Cubs. What do you have?
I got to go with just how the last week ended. Like both of these teams are very middle of the road to me, I think. And just based on the momentum from last week, the London situation is going to be interesting. But I have to go with the Saints.
Yeah, I'm with you, Saints. Just think, their offense and defense is much better right now than the Dolphins' offense and defense. I think if you had to pick mediocrity between the two of them, I'd go with the Saints. Which is sad to say for a Dolphins team that was supposed to be a playoff team. It just looked terrible last week. I don't know if they could keep up with the Saints here. Like if you can't contain Josh McCown, I don't know how you contain Drew Brees. Just simple as that. All right, Panthers and Patriots. This looked like a game that could have been a lot more fun, but now with Cam Newton just not looking like his former self, this seems one-sided. But go Cubs! What do you have?
I want to keep pounding, but I have to root against the Panthers this week. Their defense is great, but it didn't really show that against the Saints, and their offense just hasn't gotten it going, especially with Greg Olsen and his injury happened. I don't think that that the Panthers might not have what it takes this season, which is very upsetting to me.
Yeah.
So I have to go Patriots. Although I do hope that they limit Tom Brady's passing yards because my opponent has him in fantasy.
If there's any consolation here, I think that this team, the way that the Panthers look right now, if their defense continues to play well down the stretch this season, they couldn't potentially dip into the wild card race. Or even if it's not this year, I feel like next year, if Cam Newton gets a little bit more healthier, he's back to his normal self. I think that both the offense and the defense could look really good down the stretch, or could develop into being like a great team. So if that's not this year, it can be next year because this team is relatively young, I would say. Some veterans, key veterans on defense, but I think they could last another year, right? I don't know.
I hope.
All right, so Patriots, yeah, I'm going with the Patriots on this one as well. All right, Jaguars at the Jets. Jaguars, oh boy, looking like a contender in the AFC South. What do you think of this?
Well, I also think that the Jaguars should relocate to London, but that's another story. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I've got the. I know the Jets just won last week, but the Jaguars just kind of dominated, and if they do that against a very mediocre Jets team, I think they can win. So I've got Jaguars.
yeah, mediocre. The Jets are still bad. They're just bad.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna. Just because the Jets won last week, that doesn't really change my perception of this. It was a division game. Anything can usually happen in division games, and I feel so good about the Jaguars winning the Jets that I am guaranteeing that they're gonna
all right.
win against the Jets. Because
It was really hard for me to choose my guarantee this
yeah,
week. Fun fact.
go figure. Week 2 or week 3, I'm just like I can't rely on the Jaguars anymore.
Yeah.
And 1 week later, I guarantee they win. Damn it!
God damn. I love this Jaguars team
I,
just
I
because of how it fucking.
yeah, it's why you love the NFL too, because it's just
Yeah.
like 1 week you feel the exact opposite about team going into next week, but now I feel like the Jaguars lost to a good Titans team, so I'm like now I feel like 2-1 makes sense for them a little bit more. They're just looking
Yeah.
like a better team right now. It's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Titans at Texans, a very important AFC South game. What do you have, Go Cubs?
Uh, you said Titans Texans, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, uh, this this was a bit hard for me just because the Texans obviously have such a stellar defense, and the Titans' offense has been looking pretty all right lately. Uh, I have the Titans.
You going with the Titans?
Yeah.
I'm going to defer here, and
Okay.
I love the Titans. It's tough winning in Houston against the Texans. I mean, the Jaguars did it. The Jaguars did it. To be fair, they did it a
Right.
few weeks ago, but I just think that the Texans are going to probably do a better job handling the Titans team than they did against the Titans. The Seahawks did against the Titans rather. And the main reason I'm saying this is because the Texans looked really good against the Patriots last week. I don't know if that momentum will carry over to this one, but they're at home, and that's just what I'm driving from. But this Titans team, I think they can win this game. This is a close one. It's a close call, but I will defer and make this game a little bit more tense for the two of us here. So,
All right.
but let's move on to a very important NFC North battle between the Lions and the Vikings, both 2-1. And man, this game looks good. What do you think, Go Cubs?
This was the hardest one I think that I had to pick between.
Yeah.
Just because both teams are so good, and I think that that one of these two is going to win the North.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Not the Packers.
No, not the Packers. I actually don't think that.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
Because they almost lost. They got crushed by Atlanta, and they almost didn't beat a very bad Bengals team.
Even though they started rough last year, and then they were able to kind of build momentum near the end.
No, not important. They can't do it twice.
All right, fair enough. All right, you're gonna probably be right, but just it's interesting.
This may,
Oh, we're gonna.
but
I think we're losing you, Go Cubs.
the Lions. Did you hear that? Lions.
Yes,
Lions.
there you go.
Lions.
There you go. I hear you.
Rawr.
So you're going you're going with the Lions, and oh man, this was a tough one for me. Look, I've been very high on the Lions the past few weeks. They kind of, like I said, they've kind of proven that I've been wrong about them, or going into this season, saying that they will just really have the talent to compete, but they have been, and they have been very talented. This has been a very fun team to watch, but I don't know. I just think the Vikings defense and the Vikings offense, whether it's Sam Bradford or Case Keenum that's starting this weekend, I think that they will be able to do a little bit better job containing Matt Stafford. And I think the Vikings will pull out the win here. It's a tough choice for me, but
Yeah.
I'm going with the Vikings again. Another tough one, and it's gonna be another exciting one that's gonna play out on Sunday as well. All right, Rams at the Cowboys. Another battle between 2-1 teams, both of which looking interesting going into this week. What do you got, Go Cubs?
I'm gonna hit the Team Chaos button and predict the Rams.
Dude, I'm also picking Team Chaos Rams. There you go. We're on the same we're on the same mindset. I love it. Team Chaos Rams. I love that look, nothing against the Cowboys, but I am a little worried about them. I feel like they could have dominated the Cardinals a little bit more on Monday, and they did not. Rams looking hot, looking feisty. They're gonna silence these Cowboys fans, and they'll go 2-2. Team Chaos will be all for us in Dallas.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, is that our first dual Team Chaos of the.
It's our first duel anything, I think, unless we had the same lock week 1.
I think we both picked the Falcons week 1 for
Oh yeah,
guarantee.
we both picked Falcons over Bears.
Yeah, but
That was our first duel Team Chaos.
yeah, I'm so down for it though. We'll ride this together. All right, Bills at Falcons. This was a tempting Team Chaos one for me, but I don't know. Again, 3-0 team against a 2-1 team. Very interesting, considering how well the Bills defense has been doing, and just how well the team overall has been doing, considering what we thought they were going to be. The Falcons, though, 3-0. What do you got, Go Cubs?
I almost picked this as my lock, but I overthought it like a lot and just thought that that there might be a surprise that happens. But I didn't want to have this lock and
Right.
like
Don't fall for the Bills.
what?
Don't fall against the Bills, because they'll rip your heart out like they did last week for me.
Right. I'm still choosing the Falcons.
No,
but,
absolutely.
Yeah. I wasn't comfortable enough to lock it.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same. I was thinking Team Chaos for this one, actually, for the Bills, but I still think the Falcons are good enough that they'll be able to beat this Bills team, especially at home, considering how dominant the Falcons looked against the Packers at home a few weeks ago. I think this is going to be a dominant win for the Falcons as well. All right, Steelers at Ravens, another divisional battle between 2-1 teams. An exciting battle, I think, because now the Ravens they're both coming off of losses now, and I don't know which was worse. The Steelers losing in overtime to the Bears, even after the Bears kind of gaffed that block kick thing, or the Ravens losing blowout fashion to the Ravens. I mean, that's just insane.
Yeah.
Or to the Jaguars rather. So who do you think is going to win between those two teams?
I think, God, I don't know. On a personal level, I want the Ravens to win, but
Right.
the Steelers just have more there, I think. And I know the Steelers are really terrible on the road. Like, one of the worst teams in football on the road. Maybe not quite that extreme, but
Right.
but I have to go with them over the Ravens right now, just because the Ravens don't seem like they have it together yet.
Yeah, I have to go with the Steelers because the Ravens. I mean, I don't know how you go from losing like that in London, no bye week in between, and I don't know. Like I think the Steelers are just a better team right now.
Yeah, even if they did lose to the Bears.
Yeah. Very true.
Right.
But all right, next game, the Bengals at the Browns. Now this is the exact opposite of the of the Steelers Ravens game here. I mean, look, I don't know. I think this is a coin flip game because I genuinely think between the two of them, um, it's gonna be. I don't know. I really don't know which one of these teams can actually pull out the victory. What do you think?
I think just based on the teams that they performed against next week, the previous week, obviously they both lost, but the Browns lost against the Colts, the Bengals lost against the Packers, and the Packers are pretty good. So I think the Bengals are going to take it this time.
Yeah,
They found their mojo finally against the Packers and could maybe at least win five games this season.
yeah. I gotta go with the Bengals too.
Yeah.
That's just it's to me it's simple. You know when you compete, at least throughout a lot of the at least in the first half, you actually look like a competent team. Against a pretty good team, you show signs of hope. The Browns didn't really show any signs of hope last week, but I still think it's going to be a close game. But we'll see. Both teams need the win. I mean, it's as simple as that at this point. The Giants at the Buccaneers. This is an interesting game. Actually, for the broadcasting team, they're bringing out both Rondé and Tiki Barber, who Rondé played for the Buccaneers and Giants, and Tiki played for the Giants. The two of them are gonna be co-color analysts with Kenny Albert on during this game. So I'm
Tiki
sure
Barber also started in a Geico commercial.
Yeah, yes, because he owns a barbershop now apparently. Just kidding. The Buccaneers looking to rebound from the Vikings loss. The Giants are looking to rebound from the Cowboys, Lions, Eagles loss. And what do you think is going to happen in this one?
I think that, obviously the Buccaneers still have one more week without Doug Martin, right?
Yes.
But I just don't think that outside of OBJ, the Giants have anything going for them.
Yeah.
Especially offensively. And the Buccaneers have a decent enough defense that I think they can rein in the struggling Giants offense. And Jameis Winston, although he'll have to do everything and hopefully not throw interceptions, has a decent number of targets that he can use. So I've got Buccaneers over Giants. This is also my lock.
Oh, look at you! I love that you're locking this game up because I think that there's a chance that the Giants play close with them, but that's a good one though. I like that you're going for it. So guarantee for the Buccaneers to win that game. Look, Jesus, think about what we just did. We guaranteed that the Jaguars and Buccaneers would win a game. Back in 2014.
Just 2 years ago.
Yeah, or 2015 even.
Yeah.
People would be like, what the fuck? What the shit?
Yeah.
Are you okay? And
do you know what football is?
Yeah. And also think we just locked up teams that are going against my New York teams. Just shows how rough of a season this has been thus far. Anyways, Niners at the Cardinals. Look, this is a 0-3 versus a 1-2 game. It's not going to be that exciting, but it's a division game, and usually division games can be very exciting because really anything can happen. I mean, Exhibit A being Rams and not 49ers last weekend. What do you think is going to happen?
Sorry, I blanked on the actual game that you were talking about.
49ers at Cardinals.
49ers Cardinals. All right. So the 49ers were actually really impressive last week. It was against the Rams, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rams are good. Rams are good.
Right. And with David Johnson out for the Cardinals, that gives a really hard that makes it hard for them to do stuff. But Larry Fitzgerald is still doing shit given how old he is. And I think just overall, the 49ers team just isn't it isn't like fully together where they want to be at, just because of how new a lot of them are. It seems.
Yeah.
At least new to each other. So I think I have the Cardinals over the 49ers in this one.
Yeah, same. Cardinals over 49ers. The Cardinals, they just. It's tough with the Niners because they finally looked kind of competent during their game, during the game, especially in the second half of that Thursday night game. It was really exciting, and they have extra time now preparing for this Cardinals team, so there's a good chance they could win this game. But I don't know. The offense for the Cardinals still looks like it can be successful. J.J. Nelson, a wide receiver for the Cardinals, has now come out as being a very good player. He's had a strong start to this 2017 season. So look for him to make a few plays. I think the Cardinals end up winning this game as well.
Yeah.
Next, the Eagles at the Chargers. I mean, a lot of 4 o'clock games. Eagles at the Chargers. It's a number 3 2-1 matchup. Eagles looking good off of the Giants win, and the Chargers just finding ways to lose. I don't know. How do you think this game's gonna end up?
Melvin Gordon right now has a bit of a bruised knee. Nothing too serious, but it did limit him a bit against who they play last.
To the Chiefs.
The Chiefs limited him a bit against the Chiefs, and it might do the same for this game. The Eagles, on the other hand, have been extremely surprising, and right now I think the best team in the NFC East. Although it is going to be hard with how good Washington and Dallas might end up being, we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think with the limited Melvin Gordon, even just like something slightly wrong with the Chargers at this point is enough to like cause some worry with them. So I have the Eagles over the Chargers.
Yeah, Eagles over the Chargers, and I think what solidifies this with me is that the Eagles, they're beat up in the secondary. That's kind of rough, but I don't know. It's hard to have confidence in this Chargers team, which at home still has like half the stadium filled with the other team's fans.
Yeah,
and I don't know. This is just going to be a rough transition season for the Chargers, and I don't know. I had playoff aspirations for them. I just don't know if they're ready for that. And again, they're good. They're a good team, but they just find ways to not win all the time, and it's just a bummer. And I just have a lot of confidence in the Eagles. Like you said, I agree. I think they're the best team in the AFC East, and honestly, I don't really think it's close. I think maybe the Redskins, but I think the Cowboys are not as strong as they were last year, and we all know what the Giants are doing as well. I think the Eagles team is really good. I'm ready for an Eagles playoff game again.
Fly, Eagles, fly. This is what they say, I think. I have a friend who's an Eagles fan for some reason, even though he grew up in the cornfields of Illinois.
Wait, say that one more time.
I have a friend who's an Eagles fan, even though he grew up in the cornfields of Illinois.
That's interesting. Was that just because he liked the color of the Eagles, or you liked the sort of player? Like, did he say?
What happened was he didn't want to get caught up in the Cubs versus Sox stuff, so he was like, oh, I'll root for the Phillies, and then that kind of translated to other sports.
Oh.
He's a Philadelphia sports fan for some reason.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I don't really judge people for who they root for. I mean,
I know.
It's
unless they're University of Alabama fans.
Well, I mean, yeah, we can't really help those folks, but sorry, Bama fans. But I think it's cool finding out from like some guy in like Alaska being a fan of the Miami Dolphins. Like that, like to me, like all that stuff is just fascinating. Like what in your mind made you think that? Like I actually want to do like a research project on it. Like I would love to interview out of state fans who like and like find out the reason why they like certain teams, whether it's they used to live in those towns or or they just like the animal or the mascot, whatever it is, or
I mean, that's actually I when I was younger, I really liked Big Cat, so I was a big Detroit fan because Tigers and Lions.
right, yeah, it's just amazing and the connections you make. I liked the Dolphins for a long time because of the blue and orange aesthetic. Like I just it was just I don't know. It's just weird how our minds are just we'll go for the fact that it's a great football team. It's just colors or mascots or just just choose a random one out of state. It's interesting. Anyways, Raiders at Broncos. This should be a good one. Good divisional game. I did a lot of great divisional 2-1 games this weekend. How do you think this one's gonna go?
This one, like both of these teams, struggled against teams that you wouldn't expect them to struggle against. Man, I might be rethinking this now because like you look at the Raiders, pretty good offense against the Broncos, stellar defense, and you look at the Broncos, pretty okay offense against the Raiders, mediocre defense, and it seems pretty obvious. But I can't help but want to root for the Raiders in this one. God, I don't know. Who are you picking?
Oh, you want me to go first? All right, I'll go Broncos.
Okay.
Because I think that the Broncos have. I think you put it greatly. I think the Broncos have a good offense going up against a Raiders team that has given up a lot of points, versus the Raiders offense, which is going to go against a really stout Broncos defense. Now, not that the Raiders can't compete against that. They definitely can. But I think it's going to be a little bit more rough for the Raiders in this game, especially on the road. The Broncos are very good at home, so that's my logic.
Yeah, good point. After talking it through, it makes more sense to choose Broncos. I had Raiders down, but I'm going to go with Broncos.
Broncos, all right, sounds good. All right, seems like an obvious one, but again, we have to note the Seahawks struggles.
It's in Seattle.
I know. Colts at Seahawks. This would have been a great game if Andrew Luck was playing. Unfortunately, we don't get that. We get Jacoby Brissett.
How many times can I make that joke before people get tired of it?
It's already tired. All right, so Jacoby Brissett. He looked really good against the Browns, but it was the Browns. That's all I'll say right now.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you have? Go,
I think that the Titans are better than everyone thinks that they are, and the Seahawks, their offensive line is shit. Their defense maybe just had an off day. I think that being in Seattle, the Seahawks have what it takes to beat a Colts team that isn't so great.
Yeah, here's what I'll say. The first 2 weeks of the season, it was very much the Seahawks offense that was struggling. The defense was doing fine. It was the offense that was struggling.
Yeah.
Last week it was both, but in the last half of the game, the Seahawks did, and specifically Russell Wilson ended up throwing for 400 yards. The offense did end up turning it on in the second half, but it wasn't great. That's why I still say it was struggling still.
Yeah.
But there was some life. Now, if they could get that defense from those first 2 weeks and the offense from the second half of last week's game and put them on one team, have it work together for 4 straight quarters, the Seahawks should have no problem dealing with the Colts, and I'm going to pick the Seahawks for that reason.
Yeah, I also think that the fact that it's a primetime game in Seattle, like it's going to be hard for the Colts to
absolutely
play there.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Seahawks are just the obvious pick here.
Yeah.
All right. This is the game of the week to me. Redskins at Chiefs, the Racist Bowl. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't get
Chiefs
no.
aren't as bad.
I just
Chiefs aren't that
I
bad.
wanted I wanted to trigger someone that was watching this just like shut
Wow.
up. Sorry. Like not I just it's kind of true. It's kind of true. Anyways, Redskins.
The Chiefs just have a derpy wolf as a mascot now. That's
Well, I think during halftime ceremonies they have like the headdress guy
oh
come
okay.
out and dance. They might have changed that, but regardless, I for all those
Hitting too close to home.
those people who defend the mascots, I'm sorry to take that shot, but
But just fuck you.
no. Just this is just me being an asshole right now. It's all good. Anyways, the Redskins and Chiefs. This should be a really good game. Because I think if Kirk Cousins and the Redskins defense can perform like the way they did last week, it should be a very fun game against the Chiefs, who I think Kareem Hunt has been the best player in the NFL. Period. I think he's just been fantastic.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs have been just very good at both sides of the ball, but can the Redskins expose that? Go Cubs, you let me know.
I don't think so. I think that the Chiefs just like I can't root against Kareem Hunt right now, just with how good he's been doing and how solid on both sides the Chiefs have been overall. Kareem Hunt really brings this offense to another level, and their defense has already been pretty solid. So I have to go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Chiefs as well. This is a team that it does not look. It looks kind of unbeatable right now. The Chiefs. I can't wait to see this team against the Raiders or Broncos, because I think that I feel like divisionally,
the divisional game, it'll be the ultimate test for them.
Right, but right now it's the Redskins on the road heading to Kansas City in primetime in Arrowhead, which is one of the loudest stadiums in the league, one of my favorite venues in the league. I kept on saying that last January, how excited I was for the Chiefs to get a playoff game, and that was an underrated good game, by the way. I think the Chiefs will take care of business here, and it'll be surprised if they don't. So that's how I feel on that front. So that is it for our picks for the week. Can we had one kind of bad week. We went 7-9 in week 1. Then we had a pretty good week together. And then we went back to kind of mediocrity. Can if the trend continues, we should have a pretty good week, but I don't know. I hope so.
Know,
bold prediction, real quick. Do you have a bold prediction of something that's going to happen during one of these games? Any of them. You could pick one, or you could choose a broad one. Wait, say again?
Any of these games?
Any of these games, or you could just say a broad prediction for that could happen in any of these games. Just give me something that is really edgy. For no reason whatsoever.
Give me 1 sec.
Yeah. Let me see. I'll throw one out there. I'll say that I'll say that the battle. I think that the Colts will only lose by 1 point. I'll say that. I think
right.
I'll say that's my bold prediction. They'll lose, but it'll only be a 1 point.
Okay. I'm going to say that combined,
Okay.
out of all of the games,
Okay.
this might not be that bold, actually.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
All right. So combined, out of all of the games,
Okay.
600 points will be scored.
600 points per be scored. So
that's 37.5 per game. So that's total.
Huh. All right.
Like add the two teams up.
All right. Interesting. I might have to go back to past weeks to see that 600 points for the whole. Yeah. All right. I'd say that's pretty bold. I
mean, it's about like 19 points per team.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. All right, yeah, I like it. I like the bold prediction.
Okay.
That's I we have to remember to do the calculations next week. If we can remember
Yeah.
for it, we have to remember.
I'll do them.
All right, but real
If we both
quick, yeah. Hopefully, I just seem to forget a lot of
I mean,
things.
it might have happened last week. There was a lot of high scoring games last week.
Yeah. I don't know if you're prepared for this, Gocubs, but we have to do the segment this week. It's time for another edition of the Hollywood Star.
Woo! All right, I'm more than ready.
Wait,
All right,
wait,
so
wait, wait, wait. The studio audience is not here. Okay, there you go.
oh,
All
okay.
right, there you go.
All right. So the Hollywood Stars suffered our first loss of the season, only by 7 points, which I was not expecting at all. I thought I was going to get creamed much more than that afterwards. The Philadelphia defense was not the play, nor was starting the usually reliable Justin Tucker. Just Donovan Ravens had a really bad game. That's all right. Kareem Hunt led the team. Actually, no. AJ Green for the first time led the team with 27 points. Kareem Hunt closed behind with 25. Marcus Mariota had his best game of the season at 19. For the next week, I'm going up against a pretty stacked team, I feel. But I'm going to be making a few waiver adjustments before I make my final lineup. If all these waiver claims go through, I will be dropping Austin Hooper as my tight end and picking up Charles Clay.
Good one.
What?
Good one.
Good one? Yeah. I will be adding Russell Wilson, who was recently just dropped to waivers. I hope that no one ahead of me is also thinking of picking him up, because I'm the only one who doesn't have like an elite quarterback. So I'll have 2 quarterbacks that I can switch between the rest of the season. And then for defense this week, I will be streaming the Titans defense against the Texans.
That's interesting. Pretty good.
It's either that or the Vikings defense, and I trust the Titans defense more than the Vikings. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just on the teams that they're playing.
Based on the teams that they're playing, I think the Vikings defense is really good, but I don't know, dude. I might consider picking up the Vikings defense because I know the lines are.
I already have the Vikings defense.
You already do. I would say start the Vikings defense because
start the Vikings. Okay.
Just because the Titans still gave up a lot of receiving yards last week, and I know that Deshaun Watson still needs to get his legging grow in the NFL, obviously, but I still think it's gonna be tough to. Let's see. I know that they are going to probably release, like a lot of fantasy experts usually on Wednesday release a lot of the start and sits.
Yeah.
I would look at some of those, but I right now I would lean towards the Vikings because they are just a established good defense. The Giants not so much, but we'll see. I think either one probably would be okay.
All right. So my starting lineup this week will be either Marcus Mariota or Russell Wilson, depending on depending on whether or not I get Wilson. Melvin Gordon, although that might change due to an injury possibility, although he should play. Mm-hmm. I'm not that worried. Kareem Hunt, AJ Green, Devonta Parker, who's the tight end yet? Charles Clay, CJ Anderson, the Vikings defense, and Dustin Tucker.
Yeah, damn right. That's a good lineup.
If Melvin Gordon for some reason can't play, CJ Anderson will move up there, and I will put either Jeremy Maclin or Terrell Pryor in, probably Maclin.
Yeah, I would go Maclin there.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Well,
good luck to your Hollywood Stars.
Thank you. And this game is also crucial for me to win because in my division right now, one person is 3-0. 3 people, including myself, are 2-1, and I'm facing one of the other 2-1 people. So this is really crucial that I win this week.
Hope for the best here.
I will.
Right. So that is it for this podcast. Lots of things going on in the NFL. A very, very fun weekend last weekend, even though it was very weird and very unique and memorable. That weekend's gonna be remembered for a long time for everything that really happened, mostly on off the field stuff. But we move to week 4, and I hope for even more exciting action. Hopefully they keep on with the exciting games. That'll be a lot of fun. So
Yeah, and I'm actually able to watch stuff this weekend. So
yeah, it's gonna be tough for me because we got a lot of events going on this weekend for myself, but I hope to catch as much as possible. But you fill me in on all the chaos that you're gonna be watching. You let me know which 1 p.m. game you're gonna be watching and keep me updated on that. I don't know if they have those maps up yet or not. They may not.
I'm checking 506 Sports.
They might not have it yet. But regardless of that,
I'm still checking.
Yeah, I know that I would be forced to watch Jacksonville at New York if I was at home during the 1 p.m. slot. So in a way, I'm kind of glad I won't be. But I mean, Jacksonville has been fun to watch, so who knows on that front. But then after that would be Raiders at Broncos. I'm like, yes, yes. There you go.
Yeah, they don't have it up yet. I don't really know what I would get. My guess would be I'm going to get.
Oh, but well, seems like we've lost Gocubs again. Oh boy, well that's just this is just describe the series at this point. Anyways, Gocubs, you back?
I think so.
Alright, cool. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Be good to one another, be kind to one another, and I'll see you guys next time.
With the green ones.
Alright, yeah, follow the warning group advice. See you guys next time.